Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the Fatherland, your only sanctioned source of comedy to entertainment. Off here to a 1v1 on Langraskaya. In the north, it is Chiefs and Tonkatsu fighting for their army, the Soviet Union, Comrade Stalin, and the 12th Guard Tank Corps here with Armoured Assault, Soviet Industry, and Mechanized Support in the south. It is DaPopeCoH fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, in a rare appearance with an early Spearhead commander choice. Most players tend to pick it, 20 minutes of the game at this point. Mortar half-tracks, Panzer Tactician, Reconnaissance Airflight, Fragmentation Bombs, and the Tiger Tank. Grenadier MD4 to start for him. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons and supporters. Wonderful people one all, and without the support, the Propagandacast worth it would simply not be possible. So big thanks to all of those. Other people enjoy thanks by Patreon page on themselves, or they can donate by PayPal. Links in the description. And if you're considering pre-ordering Communist Free, another way to support the Propagandacast is actually by pre-ordering Communist Free through the link in the comments. Use the CoH2 3G along with that. And finally, comment, like, share, subscribe. So, off the races here as Pope here fighting for the first Panzer class. You see with engineers in the center. You can see that bit of a broad approach here from Chiefs Tonkatsu, west, east, and center, using the double engineers start to seize a bit more territory against the Germans early on. And then following up the regular infantry to hold the line. Meanwhile, we can see that Pope is going for a slightly more conservative start. Partly, it also didn't help him that, Chiefs Tonkatsu able to use the engineers to bait up his attention here, actually slowing down Pope's early capture, because suddenly the machine is busy here, not grabbing points, and some of the pioneers were also busy. This is actually, in several ways, a bit of an initial win there for Chiefs Tonkatsu. Sure, didn't really do any damage, technically had to back off, but even then, they were actually able to get a resource lead here, I think, significantly larger than Pope quickly. So, pretty sharp play there by Chiefs Tonkatsu, even if it wasn't intentional. But by going up here, bit of an erratic patch, you might say, but again, part of this is basically being done by some players to make it harder for the opponent to lay down sandbags around these points, in which case you'll notice they'll leave these barbed wire strips like this. That way, you can't lay up sandbags easily without forcing them to have to spend time wiring it off. That creates a bit more work for the opponent as well there. Plus, just makes it difficult to stand with troops as well, that they risk being bunched up, which makes them more vulnerable to artillery as well. So there's multiple purposes to that. It's not super common, but again, it's been slowly happening with more players getting, shall we say, a bit more, energetic with a barbed wire. Up north here, points being grabbed, finding on the western fuel point here. Bit of sandbag C using the local light cover to provide heavy cover. Well, effectively its own barbed wire there, so that way the opponent can't use the heavy cover. That's another trick, by the way, there. Got sandbags here. And you might wonder, well, why lay down sandbags when there's already heavy cover here? Well, it's not particularly great for larger squads as the conscripts. It's also a bit awkward there, so you risk getting caught by the machine gun anyways. But doing this, you got, again, a bit more thorough cover situation set up there. Up north here, conscripting forts here, though, for Chiefs Tonkatsu against Pope left flank. Need to get some grenades up to help hold up against the socialist advance here of Chiefs Tonkatsu. Nope, by the way, trying to move around here, possibly concerned about machine gun from here. But even then, also just makes sense because there's a bit more terrain here to use against the Germans rather than attacking into their positions there. So, relatively smart maneuvering there by Chiefs Tonkatsu. Supporting company here. And we got Pope with the 4 grenadier build here. Which again is relatively standard with the most Wehrmacht builds increasingly. In part because, again, it allows you to fight back more efficiently against the 3 conscript 2 engineer builds, but just having more troops on the field, plus, of course, later in the game, having a load of light machine guns is also pretty good. So, there's multiple purposes of this at multiple stages of the game where this just gets set up for, more success than not. No tech yet here for Pope, though. Can't do so now. Can't there, pulling back for the MD, cut off point there due to the MD42 there under Pope's command. Quick retreat here. North here, though, we got a larger push of Pope with 3 grenadier squads threatening here. Chiefs Tonkatsu's carve point, and there's only a bunch of engineers to hold the pioneers closing as well. This is a really rubbish spot to be in for Chiefs Tonkatsu. Got a bit too cocky here versus Pope. And of course the Pope, while perhaps not quite, going for a full papal bull here against Chiefs Tonkatsu, is certainly delivering a straight up papal smackdown. Comes there, going to use here, no tech yet. Always could have rifle grenaded all these bunched up conscripts. Still no tech there for Pope, by the way. Trying with rifle grenades, they're being made ready. Half point hit. Suddenly, Tonkatsu's good start has completely turned against him. Apparently, again, the power of the 4-grenadier build. Also, the flamethrower pioneer obviously gives some more firepower versus the Soviet infantry, but it does, you know, put into that typical Soviet Wehrmacht dilemma there is, which is, do you go for the flamethrower for more firepower, or do you leave your opponent free to just spam mines against you? Because that's typically what happens there. You go for flamethrowers, your Soviet opponent's going to take that as an invitation, just lay down as many mines as they possibly can. Like, you know, like they're basically getting kickbacks from the producer of the mines. Which in some cases they might actually be, for all we know. Again, note here, lots of strips of barbed wire. Again, looks funny, but crucially, denies the opponent easy access to just lay down sandbags there. That, again, having to put in a lot of work. Finish engineers there. A nice turnaround by Pope. He could call in the mortar attack right now. I don't think he will, though. Bunker there, not finished. Could, of course, use the Clandestine Pioneer here while being forced to do so. So far, no sign of that. Got the center point back. Eastern fuel almost been grabbed here by Pope. West side here, we got engineers being forwards for the Red Army. Nothing out of the support company. Mortars, maximum field guns, of course, all viable options. Like to make a nice company here. Still hasn't finished the bunker. And not going for mine, actually going for demo charge. I mean, why go for mines if you can go for something with a bigger boom? There's apparently the Tonkatsu line of philosophy there. There we go, finishing the bunker up here. 2-2 on the way for Pope and for Deutschland. West side, we got the continuity moving forwards here. Wiring off here, could of course also have mined, or as a person snuck in a demo charge. Back at base, nothing further happening there for Tonkatsu otherwise. Moving up here, and we got some mines there, very good. West side engineers versus the grenadiers here in the west. One light machine team ready here for Pope and for Deutschland. Armored car almost done. Tonkatsu here, flooding a fair amount of manpower. No tech. Further. No commander. No support weapons. Guessing this is going to force either a field gun here or maybe mechanized support for the guardsmen. We'll of course have to see which of these two options Tonkatsu plunges into here versus Pope. Field gun away. This is 3 divisional field gun. Comes there routed by the 2-2 up north. They can use their butt to get wiped up. The control squad here need to retreat them schnell. He could even like try to use the armored car as bait here to try and force the attention away, but looks like that's not going to happen. Flamethrower team arrives. Narrowly maybe able to save the gunners. They've got really close call there for Pope. Definitely pushes like a bit further than it could hold, I would argue. And field gun followed by a maximum of Tonkatsu. Still no commander. Clearly a bit hesitant to make a pick yet. Though certainly the more this is going, this could still be mechanized support just for the ISU. We've already seen that ones recently, but could also more like the armored assault. There we go. T-3045s, raid intercept, very powerful ability. Vehicle crew repair training, IS-2 heavy tanks, and the R2 Sturmovix. Yeah, that's going to be a fairly heavy armor emphasis from Tonkatsu and the Red Army versus Pope. Maxim right around the corner as well here for Tonkatsu and the Red Army. Got the Maxim team out there. Engineers also good to go. Center being seized there. Cover ruined here by the 2-2. Of course, at this stage, Tonkatsu might be planning the tank command, but it's also not impossible at this stage. It's already thinking just moving straight ahead for the mechanized armor company, in which case, less priority in getting out the Tanko VP tank command as soon as possible, obviously. We'll have to see. Back here, nothing further happening there for Pope. Could still, for example, consider mortar half-tech. Regular mortar could also be an excellent idea now that the Maximum particular also has joined in the fight here versus Pope. A mortar could be a very handy-dandy option. Sandbags here on the carve point. There we go. Tanko VP tank command there for Tonkatsu. And we do get a mortar after I get for Pope, the 250-7. Specifically this version, of course, based off the 250 half-tech for the reconnaissance units of a conservation. There was also a version based off the 251 half-track. That's a fun side note. Beyond that, there was really not much to mortar half in the German army, with the exception of the ones made by the Baustab Becker in Normandy, where they basically just took a buttload of French mortars and attached them to sort of a converted French half-track that had been a bit up-armoured, basically turning into sort of, shall we say, the Panzerwehr of mortar half-tracks. We could just like fire, I don't know, 12 to 24 mortar tubes at the same time against a target. Little fun side note there. Machine gun then lost bit of blow that Pope at least Tonkatsu's forces can't grab without sacrificing the conscript. Machine was right with the mortar half-track. 4 kills so far, certainly a nice handy addition there to the German arsenal. Note the mortar half-track, besides having access to incendiary mortar rounds and being more mobile, also gets larger regular barrages, firing 6 mortar bombs rather than just 3, so that can also have a bit more of an impact that way. For those wondering. Apparently again it's just the sheer ability you get with the mortar half-track, not having to right setup time, just being able to quickly get out of a hot spot. Gives the mortar half-track a lot of advantages. Mechanized armor coming for Tonkatsu, yup, straight into a lightly T-3485 push here, plus 7-man conscripts. 5 kills on the mortar half-track, 5. And is routed as Tonkatsu once more found himself cut off from his fuel supplies and rushing forward for the army, right into an MD-42 here. East side, we got a bit of push here from Pope's Grenadiers. Again, obviously the mortar half did lay them a bit, but arguably well handled. It can more than make up for the fuel cost there. Field gun moving in there again. Grenadiers might want to spread out in case of a quick barrage. Yup. Barrage off there. Got out of the way anyways. Counter-loading right with the Grenadiers for the LMD-42s. Right into a barrage here for Pope's Grenadier. West side, that ground rush to make the point here. Conscripts routed. And we got a pack here for Pope. Obviously, sounds concerned himself about the possibility of German armor. In particular, he's not exactly taken up himself and is within range of a tank or Stug, at the very least himself. We got air reconnaissance from Pope. In this case, a Stuka, though typically they'd actually use a smaller aircraft known as the Fiesler Stork for air reconnaissance purposes. Eastern is being out here for Pope. Going for that Eastern victory upon the west side. Get the armor comes to the knees there. Pioniere moving up. Get their Flammenwerfer. There you go. Contra's routed. Back here. Fresh push there from Tonkatsu. Back here. Gonna grab the Eastern victory point. We got 400 versus 416. Very close. No take yet for Pope. No take yet. Conscripts Max and filming up. It looks like they move to support here the east and defend the fuel point from any fascist incursions here from Pope. Mortar fire raining down death from above here. There we go. Goes for the incendiary barrage because there's so many units bunched up here at the same place. Also just makes time to use the terrain to defend with. So basically just is a massive area of denial tool here. Making things much tougher here for Tonkatsu. Could have been bad here for Pope, but could be worse for Tonkatsu in perspective. Still get some hits in there. Catch the field gun. Well, not really in it, so yeah, not quite as good. But then in the end, it's just basically 20 munitions, so not a huge loss there to him economically if it doesn't quite pan out the way it hoped. T-34 and 6 and later rushing out that. We got another pack there for Pope. Possibly an indicator here, of course, of a Tiger stall himself, but they also could indicate that he's concerned about being rushed down by T-34. His air recons, of course, might have given away the mechanized armor company, in which case having 2 pack 40s out against the T-34 and 6 makes sense, as the T-34 and 6, if it slips past just 1 pack, can quickly cause a lot of problems here for Pope, so that does kind of make sense. West side, we got the Pioneers with the conscript about to lose the Pioneers unless he gets very lucky, which he could. In fact, the Pioneers end up wiping the conscript force. They're so low on health and so bunched up, the flamethrower's AoE effect there completely annihilates it. Got the T-34 and for Tonkatsu, quickly going straight here for the armored car and the mortar half-track. May want to pop some smoke here. Pack 4 is being outmaneuvered already. And then here we can sort of see why PowerCores is incentivized to get out at more than 1 pack, because if the T-34 bypasses it, the pack's in a lot of trouble because the T-34 and 6 is incredible anti-nuclear potential. But there you go, second pack here now ensures the T-34 cannot just punch it out of the war here, allowing him to get the mortar to safety as well here, but also the first pack gun as well. Heading up in for that second pack there, Pope might have been much worse off. In fact, that could have been possibly a straight up GG moment. So well, again, it could be an indicator of a Tiger stall here. It's also, again, just not impossible that he, very wisely realised he's going to be in a lot of trouble against the T-34s from 6 if he doesn't get a second pack out. But there you go, tech for Pope finally. We'll have to see what he goes for. Will it be a target stall? We'll have to see. But there you go, counter-project with the Pioneers. Mortar half-tech landing a hit there as well. 6 kills on it. One thing, of course, to note that Pope definitely needs more Pioneers as well to repair all of his stuff once it gets going. Even bringing up Tonkatsu as well, lost a conscript squad. May want to replace some of these infantry losses rapidly. But otherwise, despite everything, Tonkatsu's got fairly good map control here versus Pope. Bombarding in the maximum, at least attempting to. Set. Tonkatsu there outwitted Pope. Had actually not positioned himself by cover, but removed from it. Thumbs up. Take down there for Pope.
Medium armor and rocket artillery is now available.
T-34 almost fixed up. He's also lost in near squads. I mean, Tonkatsu acts like fairly low in units here, and will be heavily reliant on the T-34s from 6. In fact, if Tonkatsu were to have lost the T-34 there, that might actually in a sense been GG unless Pope played super defensively. Because otherwise, I mean, Tonkatsu's not really got a lot left, so the T-34 is pretty much just carrying Tonkatsu at the moment. That said, the T-34s from 6 is probably one of the best medium tanks for carrying, especially if opponent doesn't have a tank themselves, because it is quite good. But there you go, straight to back 40 Pantherfaust. That is definitely not the way to get your T-34 going. Woof. East of the gun is coming points there. More half-tech back in action as well here. Trying to get that T-34 to safety. More engineers on the way there. Tonkatsu, I think, is more than aware that if they lose that T-34 from 6, they're bound straight for the Gulag. Samek's almost done there. Go. Fuel almost went to neutral. Also, there we go. More toughening down death from above here. Bombarding. Thumbs up there to Pope. Quick force retreat on the conscripts. Not going to stick around for that one, obviously. Mortar for Pope. For Tonkatsu, I mean, it's actually not a bad idea. Pope already got one, but that is a self-propelled one. So to not have mortar half-tracks. It's being pushed back by the conscripts. Mortar done. Go. PM41. Battalion medium mortar. That's a fun side note there. It's been caught up with the T-34s from 6. Content being pushed out. Flares off here from Tonkatsu. Very smart idea there before they charged right into like every German gun, perhaps. Well, obviously, of course, they do that. Deploying a smoke here, so might be a plan here, though. He's going to rush right past here at Pope's center, which actually was vulnerable with the Pack 40 basically indisposed of due to the smoke screen. That is a pretty sharp move of Tonkatsu. Completely catches Pope. He got way too, I think, relaxed versus Tonkatsu off guard, allowing to drive the T-34 right into the center because, again, with the Pack basically getting able to see due to the smoke, he could just drive the Pack up, take up the mortar half-tech. So 2 thumbs up to Tonkatsu. That was fairly clever there. And definitely, I think, punished a otherwise overconfident Pope there a bit. They're on very odd to us. They won't attack straight at us. Wait, what's with the smoke? So it looks like Tonkatsu is going here for a T-45, or might be trying to stall for the IS-2. That said, again, with the kind of situation Tonkatsu currently is in, stalling for the IS-2 might be a bit much. We do have the Supreme Combat on there for Pope, so he's definitely not going to stall for the Tiger Tank himself. Continuing opposition against the MD Maxim here. Absolutely ripping apart. Of course, the lack of mortar now, of course, is helping Tonkatsu stay a bit long longer there. The German mortar there, so of course he's got his own mortar to deploy smoke again. Thumbs up. So again, we can sort of see the difference a mortar can make in an engagement. Panther 4 there for Pope and for Deutschland. T-34 being fixed up. Another fielding. It does look like Tonkatsu's answer to this current situation, this current predicament, is basically in a most audacious manner, despite in some regards being fairly not favoured here. They're just going to try and stall for the IS-2 and just hope It just Pope gets completely blindsided by it. That is very bold here by Tonkatsu, very bold. And of course, sometimes boldness can work, but this is the kind of boldness that definitely leaves your opponent more room to like do nasty things to you if you're not careful. So definitely not the kind of boldness I would recommend. I would argue he's also kind of earned with that, smoke push there with the T-34. That was, thumbs up. Need to get the T-34 before it gets knocked out. Panther ready. Gonna lose that T-34 unless he gets lucky, I think. Oh. Thought was going to get another shot off, but didn't apparently. That is pretty lucky there for Tonkatsu. Mortar almost out the pack through there. But now the Panther 4 is ready here for Pope and for Deutschland. Panzerkampfwagen 4. Need to fix up the T-34 from 6. Pioneers straight for the car point. Continue with that. These little Pioneers by the way here. In this regard, by the way, Pope has not really been punished because Tonkatsu hasn't laid down a lot of mines, in part because in that time, and now we actually got the Soviet Air Force unleashed here to try and keep him safe here in the center. Making up for lack of infantry with aircraft. Definitely a bit of a rare sight, but in this case it does make a ton of sense. Forces Pope here away from his half of the map. East side that Panther 4 backing off, now the infantry's been sent packing. MD-42 may also become the target of the Sturmovik soon. If the field guns, of course, don't crash it for some reason, though. Apparently not. Okay, there we go. Making an attack run. There we go. Machine getting hammered here by the Sturmovik's 23mm cannons. Panther watching forwards. Almost got the MD-42, but looks like the second one fails to finish it off. Field gets good hit on the Panther 4 straight for the frontal armor. East side, though. Pope's Grenadiers are slowly approaching their Tonkatsu's vital points. Further inching forward to the mortars. Max and Mortar current the flank against Pope's Grenadiers. Decent shot there from the mortar. We got 2 kills close to Veteran 2. Western point, that being entrenched by the concrete, and there's grabbing it. Center as well there. Tonkatsu, of course, could also do with a lot more infantry, but he's obviously pursuing all the manpower possible here towards the IS-2 heavy tank. And Tonkatsu is really close. And he's almost right with the T-34 from 6. Close call here. Narrowly gets where you also got the T-34 Veteran 2. Can call in the IS-2 heavy tank now here. The Yosef Stalin 2 tank. There's also the IS-1 or IS-85. Saw a smaller production run, roughly 200 to 300. Did see some servers, but obviously not quite as well known as the IS-2. It can in some ways just be seen as a better armoured T-3045. Much better armoured, if you will. But I'll wait. IS-2 out here. Adding the panel-mounted Dishka. Mortifying close to the Grenadiers. Put a bit more on the defense, and certainly will probably come on even more on the defense because he's got 1 tank against a Soviet heavy tank and a T-34 and 6. First killer for the IS-2. Jürgen there getting absolutely splattered across the ground with a 122mm shell. Decent shot there on the Pioneer. T-34 backing off here in the east as he tries to probe the right flank of Pope. There you go. Panther 4 bounces off the IS-2's thick frontal armor. Second shot from the Pack 40 shot also bounces off the IS-2's armor. Third shot overall misses there in that engagement. Going for the Pack 40, and with that happening there, we got the IS-2 40 almost got the Pack 40 here, in fact, wiped out. IS-2 gets good in the Panther 4. Pack shoots at the T-34 from 6. They're down to half level. May want to pull that back before it gets knocked out. We got flares as well here from Tonkatsu. Thumbs up. Pope can go for another Panther 4 now, though against an IS-2, some Stooks would also be an excellent investment. But it's also not impossible that Pope, inspired by what Tonkatsu is doing, might be thinking about a Tiger Assault himself. Yeah, it looks like he's also been stalling for the heavy tank. Definitely been a bit of a while since an IS-2 versus Tiger fight like this. We're pulling back the IS-2 heavy tank. And he's advancing on the center. He's been bombarded by the IS-2. Max may catch the Grenadiers out in the open. Almost ace level there. Mortar near ace level. Mortar getting very close to the ace level. Quick shot on the MD-42 there. Almost wipes it out here. There we go. Utterly annihilates their Pope's MD-42 crew. Good shot there from the Pack 40 Veteran 2 there. Also worth knowing at this point, Pope is also starting to fall into a more defensive pattern versus Tonkatsu, which is always risky against the Surge because they're quite good at exploiting this and actually preventing you from getting back into the game. So I think Pope needs to reevaluate his tactics soon here and get more offensive soon versus Tonkatsu. Pope just risks getting buried by the Red Army here. West side, they got control for those in the fuel point here, Panforming vorwärts, closing in on Veteran on the Panzerkampfwagen. 7 kills in the usual Sterling 2. Decent shot there. No kills, but takes the gunners down to less than half health, so they have to retreat or they're likely going to die soon. IS-2 misses again, but once more does a bit of damage. Building collapses. Pioneers may want to be careful against the IS-2 there. Conscript about to get wiped out. Did they actually leave Tonkatsu just one conscript? It loses that one. This is certainly a bit risky here for the Red Army. Smoke being deployed here. Looks like we might be seeing a planned assault here from Tonkatsu again. And then once more worth noting, the use of smoke to support attacks here. That way disrupting his opponent's defenses, making it easy to conduct the assault. So 2 thumbs up to Tonkatsu. This is textbook how you do it. Perhaps not textbook, but text pamphlet. Quick instructional pamphlet. Almost got the Panther 4 there, be quite below there to Pope. He's very close to the Tiger tank though. Unit wipe in the center there, it's going to squad that bit the dust in service of the Reich. IS-2 there with 9 kills. Very, very close Veterans 1. And the OF-471 fragmentation shell there, Veterans 1 gain now, having access to it. And he's trying to Panther the IS-2 head on. Damages an engine, but also at a high risk of getting utterly annihilated. Tonkatsu loses a squad, but it's quick to replace at least that one. Though definitely should consider more squads. At this point, I would not be surprised if he's thinking about the T-45 to back up the rest of his armoured forces. They're doing heavy damage there. Good target, weak point, even on the IS-2 heavy tank. Really close call there for Tonkatsu's heavy tank. Very close call. Pope, meanwhile, is very close to the Tiger tank as well. There we got more flares from Tonkatsu. Fairly consistent use of that ability to then float with smoke. I think in this case, though, he's pretty much just trying to prevent, Pope creeping up and then firing at the IS-2 there. And that's a more interesting use of the smoke defensively, which you typically don't see either. So, but still, impressive work there. Thumbs up to Tonkatsu. I always love it when players make actually fairly well thought out users of the smoke there. Almost got the Gunnery squad, and there we go. Tiger tank out here for Pope and for Deutschland. Now things are getting a bit tougher for Tonkatsu again, but can Pope make use of it fully? That is the big question. In fact, lost another Grenadier squad. And unlike Tonkatsu, he does not have a mortar at the moment, and thus he doesn't, for example, have access to smoke to, support a assault well. And there's even a light machine gun dropped here, though the gunners can pick it up. The conscripts with the 7 upgrade cannot. Though clearly, I think it looks like Tonkatsu was planning to grab the smoke the machine gun undercover smoke. Tiger shoots, whiffs a bit, then the conscript, of course, gets some damage in, so obviously not terrible. That shot, though, definitely landed. 4 conscripts killed. East side there, sandbags up here, Max and they're creeping up out a bit, with the Pack 40. West side a bit open, east side a bit open. Mortar there, fine, we get a Katyusha for Tonkatsu. Some rocket salute, there's not a bad here either. And there go the T-44, got completely hosed here by the Packs and the Tiger tank here. Tonkatsu perhaps getting a bit too relaxed about the situation versus Pope. And Pope certainly exploited that. He's going for another machine gun team as well, though. He should really consider more infantry, and obviously so should Tonkatsu still. Nice 2 moving forwards here. He's being pushed back by the IS-2 heavy tank. Shot bounces off the IS-2's frontal armour. Another machine gun there for Pope. Pack screwing forwards, Panther 4 there. 13 kills, Veterans 1. Shots fired. I saw him forward straight to the Tiger tank here. Good shot there. Nice return hit there. West side Indians going for the point here. West side, further west side Indians moving up there as well. Minesweepers at hand in case, of course, Pope has been mining, though Pope has so far not been a big miner. Pack there wiped out here by the field guns and utterly destroying it. Good work there by Tonkatsu. But of course, also tried to grab turn against Pope here. Yup. Going up to 3 anti-tank guns. That's definitely going to be a massive problem there for Pope's Tiger tank then. Also worth note, of course, with 7-man conscripts, you can immediately grab the pack and then merge it up to 6-man status, immediately having a full-on 6-man anti-tank and crew there. Very powerful, as I'm sure you can imagine. And of course, last of the pack to just go immediately into service here for Chiefs and Tonkatsu. So that further, I would say, complicates the situation for Pope. He's bringing more pioneers, having lost some, but he needs more infantry. And crucially, I do think he needs a mortar. We got the Katyusha there now. We got a half-track on the Chiefs and Tonkatsu. Considering the lack of munitions, it could be, of course, he's still planning the anti-aircraft mode, but it's also not impossible. He's just planning to use to reinforce his frontline troops. Which is honestly not a bad idea either. In fact, makes 6-man anti-tank and gun crews even tougher to deal with. It's a really nasty combo, but it is one that is, thankfully, very rare. Thankfully. There you go, M5 half-track for the Soviets. Targeting the head here backed up by the machine gun and the remaining pack here. Note that is the ace pack, so that's something there. Panzers in the IS-2 down the Indian. Target weak point will be pretty good here, I think, for Pope does the IS-2 while he can. Doesn't pop it. Machine gun hammer the Katyusha. Almost got the IS-2. We got the triple anti-tank line for deal with the Tiger tank. It's almost getting knocked out already. Almost got the IS-2. There we go. Got the IS-2. No, it's only abandoned. And the pack crew expires meanwhile. Yikes. That was fairly inconclusive here, but I don't know, I think it's been worse off for Pope because he lost his ace pack crew there, which is going to be hard to replace compared to the IS who didn't have a lot of experience itself and can just be quickly repaired out there, so yeah. Not super great there for Pope, not super great. Having a bit of the Panther 4 there with the pack and the field guns. Again, the triple anti-tank gun is a massive headache here for Pope. Massive. Never mind the IS-2 once it gets back in action. We got a very enthusiastic looking machine gun there on top of it. Very enthusiastic. Katyusha holding up here. Heading east to the gun east for the eastern point here. Flag tank's almost good to go there for Pope. We've already got 7 kills on the mortar. And of course, in this case, the mortar's full out isn't just, murdering stuff, but also been the smoke and the flares. Still that first smoke barrage, again, with lining the T-filter rush straight at the mortar. It's been pretty big there for Chiefs and Tonkatsu. There was the IS-2, Panther fast up as well. Targeting him again. Heavily damaged, down to less than half health. Can Pope finish it off this time? Rapidly, but again, there's still the triple gun position here, which is a massive headache here for Pope. And again, we got the half-track nearby. In fact, seemingly just for the purpose of reinforcing them. Got the Katyusha there. Targeting phase 2. Got the IS-2. But there's still the matter of all these anti-tanks. He pops smoke, disengages, but problem is, the smoke doesn't cover the entire escape path there. He almost loses the Tiger tank. Whew. Got the Panther rushing force to check that Panther to rush in there while they were busy with the Titan, in which case we might be able to clear out things. But again, he just pulls back towards the half track. Panther not getting hammered here by the triple gun position. Tiger tank will need some intense repairs here. While he did get the IS-2, he did suffer some other losses elsewhere. And crucially, he didn't actually move the front line a lot here versus Chiefs and Tonkatsu. But obviously, it's still bad for Chiefs and Tonkatsu. It's not necessarily particularly catastrophic. Okay, he's going to upgrade it now. Mildly disappointed, but So if I really hasn't, I guess, had much need for forcing the front line. Almost got the gun wiped here with the 50 cal mounted on the front of the half track. Almost got the gun wiped there with it. And he's routed. As a fun comparison, though, when it came to Dishkos versus 50 cals made, by the respective nations, the Soviets, I think, roughly made something around 6,000 to 8,000 Dishkos during the war. The Americans made close to 500,000 50 cals. Just a sort of fun side comparison there. T-55 there for Chiefs and Tonkatsu. Bringing around the anti-tank guns again. More Panzer 4s. Still no mortar, though. Any kind of artillery here. I think that's going to be crucial against these anti-tanks. Pope could just like deploy smoke on them, it'd become much harder for Chiefs and Tonkatsu to use them like this, and this, massive, block formation. But because, like, Pope just never smokes, in-game that is, of course, I don't know if, like, maybe Pope is an actual chain smoker, but crucially, chain smoking does not provide any benefits against anti-tank guns, possibly the opposite, since, you're going to stand out a lot more, but, actual smoke screens, not, cigarettes, or cigars, or pipes, or whatever, actual smoke screens. The lack of that, I think, for Pope here is certainly, making things, again, easy for Chiefs and Tonkatsu like triple gun maneuvers. Got the T-35 here for Chiefs and Tonkatsu. Obviously could try and hope for another IS-2, but honestly at this point, why bother? So mortars still landed here. The PM-41 bombarding the MD-42 team. Targeting up the flank here, looking to outmaneuver here Pope. Chiefs and Tonkatsu. But again, without further support and crucially without a smoke screen, the triple guns can just turn around and begin hammering away here. In this regard, for this kind of maneuver to work out, Pope needs smoke that isn't just attached to his tanks. Again, that's what Chiefs and Tonkatsu understood and make good use of against Pope, but comparatively, Pope is just either not a believer or is having a bit of a hard time understanding the lesson. I don't know, obviously not understanding the lesson, but he's certainly not quite coming to the same conclusion there as Chiefs and Tonkatsu think his way out. The other one I feel like just makes him sound like he's an idiot, and obviously Pope is not an idiot. That's incredibly rude, and I do apologize if it came across as that, but he's certainly not quite an appreciator of smoke screens, if you will. So far, at least. But there you go, Panther 4 gaining to 2 shots and added. Got a bit of air reconnaissance here, though, for Pope. But this time, there's the anti-aircraft tower track. Immediately shooting it down. Targeting repairs actually close to the east, which is, not bad at all there for Pope. On the other hand, again, the triple packs really pose a massive issue for him. Again, if you just smoke them and rush them with the tank, then fire at them rather than the smoke, might like to be able just to straight up win this match, honestly. But so far, again, Pope just does not seems like appreciate smoke of the smoke screen kind. Again, maybe Pope is a big smoker, but that's not the kind of smoke you're supposed to appreciate in a game like Company of Heroes, or at all, to be honest. This one's about to get wiped out there. Panther for that round on the flank of the T-35, wiped out. Pioneer's going for the Panzer Corps. I'm guessing at this point, Pope is going to go for the Panzerwerfer. Which theoretically can work, but if it doesn't work out, then it's just going to do nothing for, like, ages. And there you go. Another smoke screen here from Chiefs and Tonkatsu. And again, messing with Pope's defenses imminently well. Now it's wrecking field guns again further opening up the fields of fire, making it harder for Pope to hide behind anything against the anti-tank guns. And it's not like Chiefs and Tonkatsu really has anything to hide from, and again, if he needs to, he can just use smoke. And, it's the secret to survival in a very nasty world, as they sing about in that movie. So, fixing up the Tiger tank here near the east, moving westwards there. Bit of quiet here. Pope probably trying to figure out how to get through this. Chiefs and Tonkatsu is just wondering should he advance any further. He's just going to wait for Pope to charge into his guns again. Also laying down mines, so he's clearly preparing in case of some kind of like bigger blitzkrieg maneuvers on the flanks. Panzerwerfer's on the way for Pope, so that's probably what he's waiting for, hoping that Panzerwerfer to, like, basically bail his sorry ass out of this current situation. Moving for the Western Victory Point here. Around Western Point. Targeting there, closing on the east level. Panther getting ready. Panzerwerfer's almost done. And obviously, again, just the sheer number of serb mines is going to make like a smoke assault charge a bit more difficult. But at the same time, he's not going to just mine around himself in that sense. Like, just a head-on attack's going to work out better. There you go, Panther on the flank. And again, theoretically not a bad idea. But without mine switch check ahead of the path here, there's a likelihood the Panther just hits a mine and then he's going to feel sad there. Around Western Point here. More mortifying pioneers. They're about to wipe them out. I think he's using the pioneers to spot up, but there you go. Straight into that. And he's not, and then firing at the film's going for the Maxim. Meaning the anti-tank gun, you know, Trinity or Tri is still gonna, like, you know, be there to start hammering his tanks here. After caught it with the Panther on the right side. As two being caught here, Pope remains very hesitant, like he's very slowly sort of inching his way forwards here. Tiger engaged in the IS-2 shot bounce off the IS-2's heavy armor. Panther joins in the east side. The Panther remains very static. Now being engaged with the field guns though. I think what he's in a sense trying to do is just create a threat on the right flank that he can't ignore, but at the same time risk losing the Panther for anyways, without doing anything with it beyond that. Only taking hit from the T-4 episode was the Panther 4. Bit rough there, 197 versus 267. Good shot from the Tiger tank here in the east level. 13 kills on the mortar here for Tonkatsu. Thumbs up. Tiger tank very close to the east level here. Constantly being hammered by the Tiger tank. Another pack 40 here for Pope. Now we got the field guns creeping forwards here. Tonkatsu getting very bold. I think Tonkatsu just basically saying, you know what? I'm gonna finish this. There we go. Another veteran field gun there. Titan being pushed back. Got the pack 40 ready here, but so far Pope just goes back against the wall here as Tonkatsu just creeps forwards here. Pushing on the flank here, being hammered as well there. We got 3 kills. And he's advancing. And there you go. Pack Triad being pushed back. Tiger tanks Panther will move again here. 186 to 267. Shots went through their pack for setting up here at close ranges. Tiger tank charging ahead here. Ace level gain, but there's also the anti-tank guns ready there. Heavy damaging flick to the Tiger tank. We got an even ace level pack 40 with target rate point. The Tiger tank is stunned, and there we go. Pop goes the Weasel. The crew abandons the Tiger tank. That Panther 4 knocked out here. A huge blow here to Pope. And with that, I think it's safe to say Pope is out of the war here. There is nowhere I think to come back now against Tonkatsu. He's just lost too much against his opponent. Too much. Did get the ace pack crew, which is something, but there's still a, you know, large amount of Soviet tanks and a mortar, which is still doing an amazing job here against him. Following the smoke there. Panther on the flank here. Last desperate push here, I think, by Pope. Come to return the time right, but again, the pack front here with just 2 ace field guns is still a massive threat to the Panther 4s. There you go. Loses his Panther 4. Once more, the lack of offensively utilized smoke is a huge problem here for Pope against Tonkatsu. So yeah, I would say this is a firm GG here, short of divine intervention. I'm not entirely sure which divine entity would bail out Pope at this point. Please, Jesus, save me! Nope, dude, you should have used smoke. Damn it. No swearing. Crud. So, there you go. GG, game over. A victory here for Tonkatsu. An excellent also display of the power of smoke when used properly, offensively and defensively. So 2 thumbs up Tonkatsu. Overall nice fight. There's some nice back and forth action. Pope I think at times was close, but again the lack of smoke. And again the great use of smoke by Tonkatsu proved I think to be one of those crucial elements that really turned the game around in the third player's favour. So I hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. Hope it gives you some matches. If it is, subscribe, like, share, comment. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. Till tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.